Hi, good morning guys, glad you could join me. What I'd like to do in this video, just continuing a little bit with the fire theme which I've started off, and that's talk about pot hangers. Now one of the videos which I did, which is 2 quick fires, those are pretty much just quick simple fires which you can make on the move. Now if it is that you're spending a night or two in camp, you're going to be looking for more of a substantial fire, plus also a way which is going to maximise the fire itself when it comes to cooking food and also purifying water. So with that being said, what I thought to do is just show you the few ways which I like to do it. You know, whether I'm spending just one night in camp, 2 or 3, or perhaps I'm on my own or maybe in a group. It goes without saying the fastest and quickest method is just by cooking, just by putting your pots or bottles just by the fire or just in the fire itself. Now this is a method, you know, which I use probably the majority of the time, you know, but if it is that I've got a little bit of time on my hands and I can source some materials, you know, then we'll just move over to just a simple pot hanger, you know, whether you just want to use it just for boiling water or just by hanging just one pot. So when it comes to finding the stick what you're going to use for the single pot hanger, it hasn't got to be anything special. This one's around about 4 foot in length, and as you can see there, it's not even straight. Just with a simple Y on the front. So this is what we're going to use, obviously just to hang the pot or bottle on. And then with the back end here, I've just spiked it off just a little bit. I'm just going to place this just over a log and just underneath another one at the back, which is just going to hold it just into the ground here. And when it comes that you need to adjust the height, it's just a case of just moving this log at the front here. You can just push it forward, which is going to lower the pot down, and then just reverse it back, it's just going to move it away from the flames for you. Perhaps if you just want to cook something just a little bit slower. And then again, if you've just got a bed of coals and you just want to move it forward, you can drop that pot all the way down, and it's just going to suspend it there just in the air. And then, you know, it's not going to tip up if you've got liquids in there like soup, or you perhaps maybe cooking stew or something like that. You know that the heat's going to be gathering all the way around it, cooking it evenly, and like I say, it's safely up in the area, so you're not going to spill it or knock it over. When it comes to using multiple pots, you know, then you need a multiple pot hanger. Now probably the most popular one is this one, which I'm going to show you now, which is referred to as the crane system or the goalpost system. And for this you need 3 sticks. We're going to have 2 sticks with little branches that are coming off, and also then just a cross piece where we're going to hang the pots from. So when it comes to hanging multiple pots over soft ground, this seems to be the preferred method that most people seem to pick. It's nice and easy. Like I mentioned, we're just looking for 3 sticks, 2 uprights and the cross piece. And again, now this will give us the opportunity that we can cook bigger meals, or that perhaps there's multiple people at camp. So what I've done there, I've just cut a length of wire just off the spool, around about 8 inches long, something like that. And then I've just put a loop on either end. And then it's just a case we're just going to feed the crossbar through it, and then that's just going to hang like so, and then we can just actually hang the pots just off the loop, just as I'm showing you here. If I can just get the camera to pick that up there. Now this is just a little wire loop which we've made, and then just by the side of it here is just a small one which I've just made out of bank line. But again, like I was saying, you know, you can quite easily make these out of paracord or any kind of string, just as long as that flame doesn't come up and actually burn through the cord here, you know, you're going to be fine. So what I've just finished off doing here is making a classic pot hanger. Now it started off as a V-shaped stick, I've just cut it off small just on one side just so that we can fit the pot over it, and then just on the longer side here I've just cut a series of notches into the back, which is going to allow you just to make adjustments up or down, but this is also going to hang on that wire loop which we've just made. If it comes to I need to boil water at the same time, perhaps in a bottle instead of a pot, I do something very similar. I've just got a length of wire here, and I've just put a couple of loops in it again so we can actually feed the crossbar through, and then just on the bottom here I've just got a wooden toggle. And then it's a case of simply just feeding the toggle into the neck of the bottle, just making sure that it hangs okay before you let it go. The last thing you want is this to spill into the fire, obviously, and then work out what height you want it according to the flame that we've got there. So we may just have it on the top one, which is just going to drop the bottle closer to the flames. And then just moving the crossbar off the support, just in case you're just sliding that bottle across then, and just positioning it where you need it. And the last system which I like to use is the classic tripod. Now the beauty of the tripod is it can be used when the ground's firm, perhaps during the summertime, or perhaps you're on rocky ground in general, you know, to the point that you can't knock stakes in like we did with the goalpost system. The beauty of this tripod, unlike other tripods where you'd have a single hanging point coming down the centre, this tripod itself can be used for multiple pots. And the difference being, when it comes to selecting the wood for this tripod, was to make sure that we were looking for wood that have got twigs coming out of the sides. Now all I've done here, when we actually cut them to size, we just make sure that the twigs line up, and then we could just get a cross piece like we did on the other system, just place it across like so, and then we can hang the pots off like that. Unlike the crane system where we actually carved out an adjustable pot hanger, when it comes to using the tripodals we're going to use as steel hooks. Now the beauty of this system is it's the tripod that moves, so again that means it's just going to cut down on the workload for us. Once you're happy with the pots on the crossbeam, making the adjustments up or down couldn't be any simpler. It's just a case of just grabbing the rear leg of the tripod and just stretching it out backwards, and that then will cause the pots to lower, and if it is you need them to rise up again, you just push the leg just in the opposite direction. Another good option for hanging your pots, certainly if you haven't brought any wire or perhaps you haven't got any steel hooks, is just by using a toggle and a little bit of cord, you know, very similar to what we've done with the water bottle. Now if you just make it just a little bit bigger, this one's around about 5 inches, and again just a little bit of bank line, it's certainly then possible that you'll be able to hang your pots off that, you know, just like you do with water bottles, and it becomes a very effective pot hanger. Well guys, that's it for this one. Just a quickie on the various ways which you can actually hang pots. Certainly if you're out for a night or two, you know, like I mentioned at the beginning, if I was just out for one night, I'd probably just cook with the pots directly in the fire. So like always, that just leaves me to say thanks a lot for you stopping by and watching the video, like always. Until next time, you take care, and I'll see you again.